What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 11th episode of the Lob It Up Podcast with your hosts, Tobias, Chris, and Siavash. Boys, how was your week? How's your morning? How's it going? Not all at once. Chris, how's your morning? How's your
I'm
week?
being polite because last week Seabass tried to jump in first and I cut him off like a road raging D-bag.
We'll do
So I was
the
like,
age before beauty. Age before beauty. Chris, go first.
well, I'm both of those things. Seabass, so. But weekend was good, not too bad. We had some decent weather, so it was nice and just kind of chilled. How about you guys?
Siavash, go
I was chilling. I got a brand new road bike, so I'm excited to get out this summer,
There
go
you
on some
go.
long bike rides. Chris, did you get a haircut?
I did.
Ooh.
That's a
Okay.
clean fade. That's a
Yeah.
clean fade.
I know.
I see you.
I know. Only took 11 episodes of the podcast.
He's coming in hot now. He's coming in fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
My week was good. I kind of last night or Sunday night, Monday morning, I was touching base with a lot of NBA fans, sort of NBA analysis on the app Clubhouse. Good to catch up with them and get their perspective on things. But before we get into trivia for this week, I do want to kind of pay respects to a loss in the basketball community this past week. Terence Clark, a young player that was projected to be drafted in the first round this year, unfortunately passed away. He was in a car crash. This kid didn't get to play in the NCAA March Madness tournament. Unfortunately, Kentucky did not make it this year. I was a big fan of Terence Clark. He's not a top 10 pick, but I do believe that, whatever team that had drafted him outside of the top 10, it would have been the steal of the draft. Very similar to a Tyrese Halliburton. Not the same player, but in the sense of that's the steal of the draft. Sacramento definitely won that, getting him at 14. But that's my belief that would have happened with Terence Clark. So really unfortunate to see that passing. But yeah, so respects to him, respects to his family and all of his loved ones for sure.
Yeah, rest in peace.
With that being said, Chris, let's get into this trivia. I know maybe the questions are getting a little easier, but we're ready. We're ready for the smoke. Siavash has got one up on me right now, so I gotta start to crawl my way back here.
I think you will. All right. So obviously this week we are doing our drafts, which are centered around power forwards. I did my best to try to keep some of these questions around power forwards, but again, these questions are weak. So if this may be your week to catch up. All right, so going in with the first question. Blake Griffin's older brother Taylor played one season for which NBA team in 2009-2010 NBA season?
I have an answer written down.
Yeah, write your answers down.
I don't have my whiteboard, but I wrote something down.
All right, boys, let's see the answers.
Okay, see, you can't see it.
Okay, I get. Oh, it was the Phoenix Suns.
Damn it. See, I had no idea, to be honest with you, but I do know that Blake Griffin is from Oklahoma. So I was like, you know what? Maybe OKC just gave him a little bit of a contract here.
Okay. I'm not going to lie, totally forgot that he even had a brother. So,
because I believe they both played for Oklahoma State at the same time, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. But, all right, another one of our great power forwards who's probably on this list. How tall was power forward Kevin Garnett listed as?
Surprised you didn't go with my uncle.
Charles Barkley.
Yes.
Nah, he's the undersized dog.
That would be a better option, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Give me, actually, you know what then?
A little more interesting.
Well, I can tell you. I'll tell you Charles's then as well.
Okay, so and give me Charles Barkley's too, if you guys.
It's
know.
a two-parter.
Yeah, two-parter. And Charles Barkley. I will say this as a little hint. If you listen, the answer is in the question. The undersized dog. Okay, so you both got Charles Barkley's height right, but got Kevin Garnett's wrong. He was listed at 6'11".
Dang.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was closer though.
Height,
Maybe like a half a
height's a
point.
weird thing, you know? It's like you never know. Okay, all right. So what are we gonna give that points wise? You guys get a
1-1. 1-1.
1-1
Yeah.
each? Okay.
Give me like a 0.25 because I was closest to
Oh,
Kevin
0.25 this
Garnett.
guy said. Oh my
Come on.
God.
It's either right or it's wrong. It's not horseshoes. It's not horseshoes or hand grenades. It's either right or it's wrong.
This guy's so
God,
horseshoes.
this guy. Terrible. Okay. And sorry, just going to my last question. All right. Now, what team beat the Los Angeles Lakers 4-0 to win the 1988 and 89 NBA championship?
Oh.
Okay.
What did you write?
The Pistons.
Oh, okay. You're
Oh,
both
okay.
right. Damn.
Duh.
How would I know that? How would I know that? Look at you guys go.
The bad
Jeez.
boy squad.
Bad boys. Okay. Look at this.
Bro, I didn't read the Pistons on top. I was looking at the six, but they're sideways. I'm like, wait, is this guy? What language is he
Yeah,
writing
yeah.
in?
Yeah, so that wraps her up for the
What the
trivia.
hell?
Looks like, he took it again this week. So I'm sorry. Sorry, Tobias.
It's okay. You gotta.
I'm up by 2
I,
now.
I would say that you gotta come with harder questions, but I didn't get the first one right, so I mean I can't complain on
Exactly.
the
And
level
again,
of
I thought
difficulty.
they were pretty easy questions.
Yeah.
So I was like,
That's all
but
good.
it happens. It
Yeah,
happens.
exactly.
I'll come with something really obscure next week. for you.
Perfect. Then I'll get it. And
You'll know
something
it.
from the 1950s. I'll pull it out.
Exactly. C won't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so now we're going into the fourth draft for the player positions. Obviously, as Chris mentioned, this is the power forward draft. I'm really excited for this draft. I'm drafting third, and I honestly think I'm in the best position. I think we all know who's going number one, but those 2 to 4 spots I think are very interchangeable depending on, what your opinion is and who's drafting. So I'm excited because I will be getting 2 of those top 4 guys. But Sivash, maybe kind of give anybody that is a new listener or a new viewer the landscape of what the rules and regulations are here for our draft.
Yeah, for sure. Similar to the past 3 weeks or 4 weeks, we are picking off accomplishments, but again, there are biases happening. So you're gonna see some picks that I have a guy that I'm not gonna pick even if he's on the board, and that's personal opinion of me. So
Who is
yeah,
this guy?
it's just gonna be.
I know it
Is he
is.
French?
We're
He's
talking
gotta
about
be
it
French.
probably.
He's French.
No, he's not.
He's French.
No,
That's
but you know what?
hilarious.
Actually, I was kind of sidebar. When I was doing my like building of the graphics and whatnot. Obviously, I did the small forward one. You know who I didn't even clue in that's French, and Sivash wanted him, but I actually took him? Dominique Wilkins.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
fate would have it, you weren't even able to draft him anyways. You have a bias against French people.
Well,
You're not able to draft people from France. That's why Nicholas
well,
Batum didn't go for you.
Didn't Chris mention that in one of the trivias? I think it was either
Yeah.
that week or the week before. He was like, "These players are from France:
Yeah.
Nicholas Batum, Dominic Wilkins."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So anyways, go
Hey,
ahead.
bro. All right, with the number 1 pick in the all-time power forward draft, I will be taking the undisputed, unanimous number 1 power forward of all time, Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
The guy is a 2-time MVP, 3-time Finals MVP, 5-time champion, and I'm not going to get into too much of his accomplishments. To me, you don't even have to talk about that. One thing I do want to mention, because since you guys are Patriot fans, I look at Tim Duncan as somebody that might have kind of suffered from the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick kind of system that, it's somebody looking at that and they're like, oh, I don't know if he would have won by himself, but I think this guy, he should have probably left the team at some point and won a number of them by himself. But yeah, he's incredible. The greatest power forward ever.
The big fundamental. Yeah, one thing I like about Tim Duncan is that he's won in 3 decades. pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro. All right. So with my first pick in this draft, whew,
It's tough.
all I'm gonna say is this player, he has had great success with two teams, probably one of the best players on his first team to ever go down. And just so you know, anything is possible, boys. I am picking Mr. Kevin Garnett.
Good pick.
Kevin has an impressive resume. He has made 15 All-Star appearances, 9 All-NBA selections, and 12 All-Defensive teams in his career. He's probably going to go down as, or probably is, the best Minnesota Timberwolves player that will have ever played on that team. Sorry, Cat. You had your chance. Step it up. Hit the gym.
Ant might take that crown after dunking over your boy Watanabe or whatever his name is. But yeah, no,
He's like, shh.
KG's a legend. And it's funny, you guys know, and some of the listeners might know that it doesn't matter your skill level. There is one quality that I love in every single basketball player, and if you have that quality, automatically you can be. You know it. You're a dog, and KG is a dog, bro. He is so fucking like he's just aggressive, and he's just going out there to win. He's just gonna, he has no concern for your livelihood. He's literally going to bury you in the court. So, great pick with Kevin Garnett. Okay, so following that up, and maybe so I can let Siavash bring up his qualms, I'll take this guy at fourth. So with the third overall pick, I'm actually going to take my German brother, Dirk Nowitzki. People say that he is arguably the greatest European player of all time. A player like Luka or Giannis definitely had the potential to match that or to surpass him. Dirk obviously has a championship as well, one MVP. One thing he doesn't have that KG actually does have is he doesn't have a DPOY. And he is actually never named on a defensive team, which is kind of interesting for as great as Dirk was. But, he has one of those shots like a Kobe, like a Mike, like a Kareem, one of those shots that you're not stopping. It's that mid-range turnaround jumper. So,
A little
yeah,
fade away.
yeah, I like my pick in Dirk. And at number 4, the mailman, one of the first players in the 90s to really show how much hitting the gym can be impactful to the skill level of a basketball player. Not a lot of players before that. You look at maybe a David Robinson would also be in that area, but the mailman was massive. This guy was bullying people. You look at that combo of John Stockton and Karl Malone for the Utah Jazz, the first kind of pick and pop combo there. So, Siavash, maybe explain why you wouldn't take Karl Malone on your team.
Well, I was going to ask you a question. How much does the off-court stuff affect you for taking a player? Personally, again, we talk about biases. If I want a guy on my team, I don't want too much shenanigans from off the court. I don't want somebody coming in that I have to deal with media stuff and questions. That's going to take away the attention from the team. So, how about you? How do you feel about that?
So, we're not drafting a team. We're drafting the all-time greatest power forwards. And when I look at the 4 that we just discussed, undisputably those are the top 4. Yes, I do agree that Karl Malone maybe hasn't had the best off-court personality, hasn't had the best off-court actions, but I'm not judging him on his off-court actions. I'm judging him strictly on a basketball player and the impact that he has on the court. I could talk about kind of off the basketball court. I could talk about an artist like Chris Brown. Chris Brown has been in a lot of bad situations in his career, but you cannot deny that he's a great R&B artist. So removing off of his own spotlight of the skill that he possesses, I'm just focusing on his career as a basketball player. So Karl Malone, in my opinion, he's the second all-time point scorer in the NBA, just behind Kareem. it's an easy pick to have him go back to back with him and Dirk.
He was my number 2 of all time until this year, probably. But again, what I'm saying, yeah, if you take him, I'm not mad at you. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna look at you different for taking him.
Thank you,
I'm
bro.
not taking him. I'm not taking him like everybody else. Hey, bro, you got it. I'm not gonna look at you any different. I'm just not gonna take him.
That's okay. All right.
Also, before we go on, I'm kind of surprised you didn't take your family. Come on, bro. What's going on? You
Yeah.
didn't take your uncle?
I can't, bro. But that's what I'm saying. Like when I look at the top four, undisputably, those four are the top four power forwards of all time. As much as I would love to take Chuck, because I think Chuck, in line with Karl Malone, one of the greatest players to never win a ring. Charles just isn't at that next level, and Karl Malone averaging 25 points, 10 rebounds throughout his career. I can't not look at him for my fourth pick, for the fourth overall pick, for my second pick. But I leave it to Chris. Chris, you got a couple options here on the board.
Couple
This next
options up
level
here.
I think is good. There's no bad players here, but
No.
interesting to see where you go.
I'm very, again, a little bit of bias is going to be poking through. This man is deep on the list.
I know who you're going. I know you're going.
Who? Tell me who.
It's one of two players.
Okay.
I don't want to say because
Okay.
one of them
I'm
it's
just
not.
he's actually not that deep. I only say bias only because I considered back when I was playing basketball, I was never a big offensive guy, but I prided myself on my defense and my rebounding abilities. So I am going to be choosing with my second pick, the Worm, Dennis Rodman. He was probably one of arguably the best defensive players in the game of basketball. This man obviously won 5 titles with the Chicago Bulls. He made 8 all defensive teams and 1 defensive player of the year twice. So yes, to speak to Steve Asher's point, this man may have had some off-court shenanigans, things like that may have taken away. But when, the dust settles, this man was a fucking beast when it came to that defensive zone.
But let's commend Dennis Rodman, because this man said to Phil Jackson in the 90s, he's like, Phil, I just need a weekend. I need a weekend in Vegas. I need to go on a bender. Let me go out. Let me go party. Let me go do some drugs, hang out with some girls, and I'll be back. And, thank God for teammates like Mike and Scotty that also realized, hey, we can't do this without Dennis. They went into his hotel room. Obviously, if you've seen the Last Dance documentary, they had to go into his hotel room and drag his ass out of bed because he was so hungover from his bender in Las Vegas. But needless to say, after carrying the team for a couple games, for Mike being out and Scotty being in some contract disputes, he came back and he was super impactful for that Chicago Bulls team.
And then before I go on, I would like to say I would rather take Dennis Rodman's shenanigans off the court than what's his name. But yeah, bro, it's a good pick. I like the pick though.
Okay, all right, good.
All right, for my second round pick, I am taking Hawks legend, 1950s, one of the best players in the 1950s, Bob Pettit.
Wow.
Why you out me?
Just didn't think he's going that early. Wow. Okay. No, I respect it. Didn't think that you're going to take him. Go ahead.
We're going off accomplishments. So to me, I'm looking at this guy, 11-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA, 2-time MVP in the 50s. Now, there's a case to be made. He was playing with dentists and construction workers. So maybe we can kind of lower that and kind of look over these a little bit. But, I like this. I like the pick, The guy's nice. So I'm taking him.
One thing we should recognize about Bob Pettit is in an era where a guy like Bill Russell was dominating the league. You had a guy like Wilt Chamberlain also there. Bob Pettit was the only guy that was competing head to head with Bill Russell and actually stopped him from winning a ring. Bill Russell could have had 12, but Bob Pettit snuck in there and grabbed one.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Nice. Yo, Chris,
Yeah.
1950s, bro. Come on.
No,
Tobias is gonna win this
I know. He knows. He
every
knows.
time. All right, this is a little difficult. You know, I'm gonna have to go again off accomplishments. I am going with Elvin Hayes this time.
Okay.
Good pick.
One-time champion, 12-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, 2-time All-Defense. Again, Bullets, Washington Bullets legend. This guy has been, I think, probably you can name him the greatest power forward from the Wizards or the Bullets. So, just going off accomplishments, that's my third pick.
Okay. Oh, is it back to me now?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay. My bad. It's weird. It's weird being number 2. You know. I don't know. I don't really like it. Feels dirty. Okay. So with my third pick, I will be going with your uncle.
Fuck! I wanted him so fucking
Charles
bad. Fuck.
Barkley. Sorry,
Also,
bro.
bro,
You shouldn't
I
have
was
left
like, why
family
did you
on the
not pick
board
him?
for so long. You know,
I'm
like
not
we
gonna.
said,
I'm not gonna leave Karl Malone on the board over Charles.
this man, the undersized big man, one of the greatest of all time. You know, he's one of only 4 players to tally at least 20,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, and 4,000 career assists. And you know, this man was fiery on the court. And just like all the hype, this man was just as good of a player as, all that was. What did he? Tell me some of his stats. Tell me about your family.
One of my favorite things about Charles Barkley is, in the Michael Jordan dominated 90s, Charles Barkley was the only player to win an MVP award over Michael Jordan when Michael Jordan was at his peak those 6 years. So that's a really great accomplishment for Charles Barkley. This guy definitely should have won a ring. It was so unfortunate that he didn't. Yeah, no, I love Charles. Probably one of the best. You talked about Dennis Rodman. You got a great rebounding team. A 2-pack there with Dennis Rodman and Charles Barkley. But yeah, Charles Barkley at 6'6", the big mound or the round mound of the rebound or something like that. Sir Charles was dating Madonna in the 90s. Bro, what?
Jeez.
Like, what a Rolodex this guy had. And a
Legend.
killer mustache.
Oh, it's true.
Runs in the family.
I just realized Charles Barkley was on the board.
You didn't know he was there? That's why I was like, what? Why is this guy taking Hayes and Pettit? Like, again, good in their own right, but yeah, wow, okay, that's tough, bro.
Whatever. We just gotta keep moving.
That's tough, bro. So that puts me in an interesting position. One guy is glaring at me. I can't not take him. A dominant Celtics player. Kind of unbelievable that he actually was used more as a 6-man. I think he won 2 6-Man of the Year awards. Kevin Mchale, a great asset to that Larry Bird Celtics team. He was the second best player, obviously, behind Larry on that squad. I don't really like Kevin Mchale so much as the media personality and the coach that he was after his career, but it's hard to deny, the tenacity that he came with on the court back in the 80s for sure. So I like my pick with Kevin Mchale at 3. And this next one, see, was interesting. I didn't think, okay, wow.
Look at me throwing a wrench in your plan.
It's a great wrench. It's a great wrench. I like a good wrench. This player, I think, has a very, very strong chance of being a top 3 power forward when he retires. He's currently still in the league. I'm going with Anthony Davis.
Bastard.
I thought you were going to take him, to be honest with you.
I was going to.
Yeah.
I thought you guys would have picked, some of these older players first and would have had them off the board, and then you guys would have went into some of newer players.
I think it's really hard to surpass Tim Duncan. Sivash, like you mentioned, the greatest power forward of all time. I really don't know if you're going to pass him. With him having 5 championships, that's just a small accolade in his catalog. But Anthony Davis, still under 30, He's averaging over 25 points. I think he has like 2.9 blocks that he's averaging in his career so far.
Hasn't he led like the NBA in blocks for like 3 seasons or like 3
Correct. Yeah.
months?
Correct.
So it's
Yeah.
like this man is a defensive monster.
He's a beast, man. So yeah, I'm very, very happy to select Anthony Davis for sure. The brow.
You suck.
Yeah.
You suck so much. Well, thanks, Elias. You threw a nice little fucking wrench in my plan. Okay. Gosh dang it. Fuck.
There's a guy that I'm looking at that
I know.
I think
I'm
is perfect
probably
for you.
all right. I think.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You made me picking this guy a little earlier because he probably would have been my last pick on the board, but I'm gonna have to pick him at 4 now. You know, he joined 2 phenomenal players on this team. I'm often referred to this player in our trio. I'm gonna go with Bosch.
Yeah,
All right.
no.
The man is an 11-time All-Star. He averaged 19.5 points, 8.5 rebounds in his career, and he had 2 championships with the Miami Heat. Fortunately, you know, couldn't get any of that running with the Toronto Raptors, but I think for a while he held some records with like the Raptors and stuff like that. I think like scoring or something like that, maybe. Can't remember.
Yeah. There's a few players I look at this list, some that have already been drafted, but especially some that are still on the board, and 1 or 2 that I'm looking at. Chris Bosh definitely fits this description. One of the most selfless players
100%.
in the NBA. This guy who was a dominant force for the Toronto Raptors in the 2000s. You know, not really a pay cut, took a stat cut to go and
Yeah.
join a great squad with LeBron and D Wade down in Miami, like you mentioned. Obviously, he wasn't the one getting all the points. He wasn't the one making the flashy plays, but the most infamous moment in that Miami Heat kind of era was the Ray Allen shot, right, to win the
Mm-hmm.
championship. One of the most important moments in that sequence is the rebound that Chris Bosh got, who kicked it out to Ray Allen. And a lot of people forget that, but he was vital in those championships for Miami Heat for sure.
Yeah, and it sucks to have seen, like, you know, who knows how much more his career could have developed if he didn't have those health issues,
Yeah.
things like that, and he could have kept playing. So,
yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is. Man, still retired as one of the greatest.
Yeah, 100%.
See, you look stressed.
I'm just kind of, you know, I was hoping you wouldn't take Chris Bosh at 4, so I would kind of ruin your plan. Throw a good wrench in your plan then.
Well,
now I'm kind of.
It's butterfly effects. My wrench needed to buy
exactly.
the plan. He found a wrench of his own, sent her on back. So.
So yeah, this is difficult. Honestly, they're just great players towards the end here. I'm gonna go with Knicks legend Dave Boucher. He was a player in the 70s. He's an 8-time All-Star, 1-time All-NBA, but 8-time All-Defense, 2-time champion. Now you might not know about this player if you just start watching NBA.
Sounds French.
Past, I don't know. I think he was French.
His last
Not
name?
allowed,
I don't know.
Sivash. Not allowed.
Boucher.
I don't know. I just know him from the player, and you know, a lot of these players, I like playing with these players on NBA 2K, but I didn't even know this guy was actually this nice, like with what he's done in the NBA.
Now,
So,
referencing my list for this man, he is low on this list. Like he's in the 30s for me, bro.
Hey, bro, we all have different lists out here.
We do. This is your Jamal Crawford pick, I guess.
Hey, bro, I fucked up my list when I didn't pick Charles Barkley, but yeah, whatever.
So you have back-to-back picks,
Last
so you got
pick.
another one here coming.
Exactly.
Last round, last pick. I kind of just want, at this point, I just want to pick whoever. Like, it's just, fuck my list.
Fuck this whole list. Hey, maybe
I
I snuck out with a win. I don't know. I think my list is better than Tobias's. It's looking.
Yeah, mine is not even in the conversation, huh?
No.
All right.
Because you're not confident in your own picks.
It's just a weird list, bro. This is like a whole like weird draft. I mean, I told
You
Tobias
can't you
before
can't
this.
you
I
can't say
thought it
the
was a
list
weak
is
draft.
weird. All right, you gotta be confident in your picks,
I
bro.
see two
You gotta say it
players
with your chest.
that I'm high
I will
on
never go
still.
back on my Jamal Crawford pick. Never. You know why? Because I stand firm, dog. I drew that line in the sand. You need to do that too. See, stay behind your
Dave the
picks.
Boucher. Dave the Boucher.
We gotta cut this and put it on YouTube. Motivational speaking. All right. With my last pick, I was gonna pick someone else, but I'm gonna stick with my accomplishment. I'm gonna stick with these players. This is another Knicks legend, Jerry Lucas. One-time champion, 7-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA. Again, these are Knicks players that we don't know about
I know
because
Jerry
these guys
Lucas.
played in the 60s and the 70s.
Mhm.
The time that the Knicks used to be good. I mean, today they're kind of fine fourth seed, but we haven't seen them win since back in the day. So these are, again, not everybody might know about these players, but my list is very centered on accomplishments. And these guys, I think, I'm confident having these guys no matter what the era is.
Okay. Whoa.
All right, CP, your final
All
pick
right.
here.
My final pick. There's some other. Sorry, my cat is on what seems to be crack cocaine at the moment. But oh yeah, this is tough because there are some names like a little lower on this. There is like one player that's on this list, but I have trash talked him in the past, so it would feel wrong to pick him. Chill out, bro. All right, so with my final pick in this draft, this is still a current NBA player. You know, he is doing great things for his squad. I'm going to go with the Greek Freak,
Wow.
Giannis
Whoa.
Antetokounmpo. Yes.
I
Yeah.
was looking at him.
Mhm.
So was I, but there are other players ahead of him. Go ahead. Give your explanation.
There are a couple other players ahead of him. Yes. Like, I was looking at players such as, Kevin Love was up there, Blake Griffin. Um, you know, I just see the potential in Giannis and just the things he has done so far, right? He's got the one MVP, four All-Star appearances, three All-NBA selections, and two defensive team appearances to his name. Now, yes, he has yet to win that championship. He has yet to get over that little hurdle, but I do believe the Bucks can do it eventually with Giannis. He is their guy. He is trying to expand his, range of moves. He is adding that three, although it is very slow right now. Hopefully it'll become steady and a little bit better. But yeah, I will be going with the Greek Freak.
This is so disrespectful. This is so disrespectful.
To
I'm
who? To
I
whom?
There's
To
two
whom?
guys here that I'm staring at that I thought,
Who?
oh shit, I might not have a chance at either of them. Oh shit, I might only have a chance at one of them. The fact that they're both on the board, I'm mind blown. And I know, Sivash, you were trying to go for some different picks with Jerry Lucas and the French guy there.
What do you mean different?
One guy won 3 championships. One guy won 0 championships, but is one of the more underrated players when you look at the history of the NBA. The team that he played for a small market. He had a huge
Oh, I
impact, and
forgot.
had he beaten the Los Angeles Lakers, because that was the NBA Finals in the West, they would have, whatever team won between the Sacramento Kings and the Los Angeles Lakers would have won the NBA championship. Oh, this is so difficult. I honestly, I'm stuck between Draymond Green and C Web, Chris Webber. Um,
Yeah, see, I was looking at Draymond Green, but then I was like, like I said, I talking a bit of that shit before, so I'm not gonna go back and
Fair
I'm
enough.
not gonna pick him.
But we talk about bias and we talk about nostalgia, and what do I care about the most? I want that dog mentality on my team. And if it wasn't for Tim Donaghy, the ref back in the early 2000s, who, for those that don't know, was big into sports gambling. He was an NBA ref, and he was linked to
Mm,
betting on games and throwing games that he actually refed. Um, Chris Webber would 100% have a championship, and he would have been the number one player on the team that dismantled the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. So I'm going to go with Chris Webber. Um, Very, very underrated player when you look at the history of the NBA. You guys look
yeah.
very tired, so I'm not going to go into details of just how good Chris Webber was. But yeah.
Why not?
No, because
Go into
I'm
detail.
just looking at him right now. He had that knee injury, right? Is that
hmm
basically what ended the career?
That did, yeah. He had that injury, and it kind of deteriorated his career. He didn't play that many games after that, so it kind of held him back. But was definitely
Quick
a.
question.
Go ahead.
For that, how long? How long was Chris Webber like in the league?
So he was in there in the mid '90s. He was drafted
Okay.
originally to Orlando, I think, and then traded automatically to Golden State. Played a couple years there, and then flipped over
Mm,
to Sacramento. But um, yeah, no, I'm very, very high on Chris Webber. I also like him as an NBA analysis. I know that really doesn't matter,
yeah.
but yeah, I'm going to take C Web for sure. So
So, yeah.
we mentioned it. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, I was gonna say I feel like yeah, like talking about Chris Webber, I don't really remember him, so that's why yeah, I kind of saw he was injured. Yes, he had some impressive stats here and there, but really yeah, when I was like, why do I know Chris Webber? Then yeah, you're like, oh, analysis is like
Yeah,
that's where
yeah.
I know him
Well, he's
from.
on 2K. He does some analysis on 2K.
And
Um,
I'm skipping every time.
yeah. So I
I gotta
mentioned
say,
Draymond Green, and briefly you mentioned guys like Kevin Love, Blake Griffin, also LaMarcus Aldridge, who
yeah,
recently just retired. Those are a couple guys that I thought might get a look, which also kind of brings me into my hypothetical question. You look at LaMarcus Aldridge, you look at Blake Griffin, and you look at Kevin Love, all sort of around the same age, kind of all do the same thing. They're bigs that can stretch the floor while not really known totally for their threes. I guess Kevin Love would be the best 3-point shooter. When it's all said and done, whose career do you like more? Who do you like more as a player between LaMarcus, Kevin Love, or Blake Griffin?
we're talking about NBA players and not illusionists, magicians. Then I'm gonna go with LaMarcus. Now, if we were talking about illusionists and magicians, I'm gonna go with Blake Griffin. This man pulled the biggest scam in NBA history by going to the Detroit Pistons and being like, I can't play basketball anymore. I don't know how to dunk. I can't do anything. What is basketball? I don't know that. And then gets traded to the Brooklyn Nets, and all of a sudden, this man is Blake Griffin of old, dunking, shooting, blowing by niggas. Oh my God, I am so sorry. Wow, I just got heated. We can bleep that out.
Oh, we won't.
But that's how passionate I am about this man is a scam artist, bro. Like he fooled the world into thinking he couldn't play basketball anymore. Uh, but yeah, anyways, my pick is LaMarcus Aldridge. I think he'll be better. So
Yeah.
yeah, uh, I can't think
Yeah.
about Blake Griffin.
Yeah, LaMarcus Aldridge is a no-brainer, man. Like this guy in the 2000s, in 2010s even, like he was just dominating. He wasn't the big name player. Somebody like Blake Griffin, he has highlights.
For sure.
He has all these moments that everybody wants to be like him. They want to know him. So somebody like LaMarcus Aldridge, he never got that credit. Even though if you look at the top 10 scoring in each season in 2010s, I think he was in there for at least 6 of them. This guy was dominating and he was doing it on even going on a San Antonio team that Greg Popovich admit that he couldn't coach him the way he should have. And after a few seasons, they finally figured out his potential. I think over time, even though I kind of disagree with the similar player kind of comparison, but I think regardless, if you give me these 3 layers, I'm taking LaMarcus Aldridge over any of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. So that's around the table, LaMarcus Aldridge. I do love Aldridge. Back with Brandon Roy in the Portland era days in the mid 2000s. I did bring up Kevin Love for a reason, as we touched on Chris Bosh being a very selfless player, taking a stats discount to go play for a greater team. Remember Kevin Love playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. This guy was like leading the team, and he was dominating,
Hmm.
shooting, rebounds. He was one of the best power forwards in the league at the time, and went to play for LeBron and Kyrie in Cleveland. Obviously, he did win his championship, but he definitely took a bit of a hit to his career in terms of stats because he was not really the same player. And now he is older, so he's not putting up as many points and boards as he would have in Minnesota. But he's another one of those selfless players that really kind of said, "All right, I'm going to take one for the team. I'm going to come in, fit a role that you need me to fill, for the greater good to win an NBA championship." So
Oh, okay, good point. I didn't even think about where he would have been in this comparison if he'd never moved to that Cleveland team.
right,
If he actually stayed on that Minnesota team or signed with another team that he was a number one, and he just kept putting up buckets and those numbers, maybe he would have been in a better spot than LaMarcus. But
But do you
that
think he would have won
championship,
a
that is
championship though with Minnesota if he
right,
stayed there?
right,
absolutely not.
Because you arguably have another player that is very like similar to Kevin Love in Karl Anthony Towns, who's the big man, was pulling down boards, shoot the ball, facilitate the ball, stuff like that. And yet they've been kind of stuck in like this little rut, you know?
yeah,
So,
I wouldn't. I don't know. I think Towns might be a Walmart version of Kevin Love.
oh, Walmart version? I would say yes, Towns needs to toughen up a little bit,
for sure. Too
maybe.
soft.
And
Come on.
that's really about it though. If you're looking at skill set and like, if they had the exact same mindset, exact same attitude, I would give it to Karl Anthony Towns at the end of the
But
day.
have you seen pictures of Kevin Love in Minnesota? This guy used to shave his head,
Dude,
and he was like
it's
500
so
pounds.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
he was
looked
a
like
big man.
Jokic, bro.
Yeah, he was just, when you're
Yeah,
that
that's
big, it's like you're running hot on the court. So what are you gonna do? Obviously shave them off. Let that excess of heat like just out the head. Bro, what happens? I get it.
the man.
Trying to be more
The man went
aerodynamic.
from Minnesota.
You're only so fast at 500 pounds running down the court. That mop blowing in the wind, that's going to hold you back. Why do you think swimmers shave their legs and their arms? Speed, brother. Speed.
Yeah, another thing I do want to
Yeah,
commend Kevin Love for it while we're on the Kevin Love train here. A piece that had the draft fallen the way I predicted it definitely did not. But had it fallen the way I thought it did, I would have probably taken Kevin Love for my last pick. One thing I really commend Kevin Love for in the era of, mental health is definitely starting to become a thing that's more talked about. But as a man, as a professional athlete, for Kevin Love to come out and talk about depression and thoughts of suicide is massive. It's so important, I think, for everyone to talk about this, but especially men, and having someone that's a role model as a professional athlete. And I know DeMar DeRozan, after Kevin Love's comments, also came out and talked about his experiences. So that's one thing. We talk about players on the court and off the court and their actions, but one thing that I really want to shout out Kevin Love for sure.
Yeah, and that was like something, if like you didn't mention it with Kevin Love, I was going to mention too, because it's like people so easily forget just because these players are professional athletes, like, oh, you make millions of dollars, you do this, you do that, you can go wherever. At the end of the day, like they are still humans too. They're still people. They still feel the same things we feel, and like they are just as easily able to fall into that like deep dark hole that is depression,
Mhm.
and like lose themselves in there. Like you've seen it time and time again with like tons of other athletes who may lose that battle to drug addiction or things like that just because you know they're just in a very bad place mentally.
For sure.
So it
For
takes
sure.
a lot of courage to talk about those things. And like you said,
Mhm.
especially being like a male and then a male athlete as well, because like, the stereotype is, men just suck it up and just deal with it. We just go. We just lower our heads and keep going. Oh,
Mhm.
it hurts a little bit, rub some dirt on it. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, no.
yeah, it's kind of crazy we didn't remember this with DeMar DeRozan pick in the
Hmm.
shooting guard draft, and he's been, as Tobias mentioned, he was one of the first ones, as well as Kevin Love. But you look at somebody like Kyrie Irving right now, who keeps taking breaks, and everybody's constantly killing him on Twitter, like, dude, like this guy's not reliable. This guy's just wandering off. He keeps thinking about flat Earth, but nobody's talking about like, man, he's also got a family who's going through like stuff in COVID.
Mm-hmm.
He's also dealing with stuff. Like, why can't he just take time off? He's probably one of the only players that is willing to put himself forward and say, "Hey, man, like, I know this game is important to everybody here as much as it is to me, but I'm gonna need some time off."
Yeah.
Everybody else might be kind of scared of that, but he doesn't. I like the fact that he doesn't care and he puts himself forward.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, yes, you are a basketball player, but it is still a job. And at any other job, if you were feeling burnt out, you were feeling tired, you were dealing with personal issues, you were going to ask for time off.
Mm-hmm.
And you are allowed to have that time off. So same thing applies to NBA players, and people need to understand that.
That's why I'll
Because you don't want
advocate.
to end up.
Sorry, go ahead, Dash.
Sorry, yeah, just a quick point. I was gonna say because you don't end up, as you mentioned, like drug abuse and stuff. You don't want to end up in a situation like Lamar Odom.
Yeah,
Poor guy would
Delonte
just
West.
Delonte West. And man, these are just tough situations because these are players we all idolize, but they're also dealing with stuff that we see everybody else deal with, and they might deal with it harder because they don't get to have that vulnerability to just be like, "Hey, man, I'm going through some shit." So
Yeah, that's
I
why
think that's great that these guys are talking about it.
that's why I'll advocate for my guy Paul George in the bubble, and we really don't we don't think about it because again it's a sport. Just play the game. Like this is what you're supposed to do. Like you signed up to be in the bubble, but like think about that. Like how long were they away from their family? For months?
Yeah, it was
So
a while.
so they're away for months, and they don't see anybody else but their teammate, and they don't have time to be by themselves. And if they have a bad game or they're just having a bad day in general, they don't really have time to spend with their loved one, with their kids. I don't think Paul George has kids, but it doesn't really matter. Like he even spoke about it after the playoffs. He said like I was depressed, like I was in a dark spot, like I was not happy. And people clown on him, playoff P, pandemic P, all these names, and yeah, it's a joke, but when we actually break it down to brass tacks, sometimes it affects certain people a lot more than what you see on the surface. So yeah, like think about you mentioned Lamar Odom and Delonte West. I know Lamar did, but I'm pretty sure Delonte West also won a championship. That doesn't
Yeah,
bring you happiness. Like
Mm-hmm.
definite happiness does not come from winning an NBA championship, right?
I mean, the prime example of that is Kevin Durant winning with the Warriors. He's clearly not happy still, but I do want to go back to something. Fucking lost my train of thoughts. Damn it. What was it? What were we just
Paul
talking about?
George, DeMar DeRozan, Kevin Love.
Oh, you were saying, okay, yeah, my fault. I'm gonna reset this. So when talking about Paul George and like how difficult those 3 months were, do you agree with LeBron that that was the most difficult championship to win?
I don't know. See, that's where I think it's two separate conversations. I don't think it's the most difficult championship. I think it was the most difficult situation because you've never experienced that. Every other NBA championship, you're on the road, you're back at home. I think when it comes to the most difficult championship, that says more about the competition and the teams that you're facing, the road to get to the playoffs. I think the atmosphere and the situation that you faced, being in the bubble, that will never happen again unless you do it again this year. But like that will never happen again. Like that, it was the most difficult situation, not the most difficult championship to win. Very similar conversations, just two different words, I think.
I mean, I'm just saying, I would have given him like, extra nod because of that
Hmm.
championship.
Yeah.
MJ might be a little lower now.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I would
Use
consider
it as a
that to be
narrative.
like one of the more probably the most difficult championships because, like you said, like there was nothing normal about it, and it's like what the NBA season fired back up with like such a short break
Yeah.
from the previous season due to like COVID. So no players really had time to rest, rejuvenate, get back into it, take that little break from basketball, from their job, and come back. And they were boom right back into it. They were separated from their families for like 3 months, because even if you are on road for like a good like 3-4 day stretch, at the end of the day you get to come back to your family. And probably for a lot of these players, their families, their friends, their loved ones are a way to help them de-stress.
Yep.
But it's like, you're in this bubble, you're seeing the same guys all the time. I might have just played you and you just dropped 50 on my head. Now I gotta
Yeah.
see you around the
Go for
resort
dinner.
all the
Yeah.
time. Exactly. Now I'm eating dinner with you and shit. So I would say it definitely is probably
Which I think it
the
totally
change.
contributes to the amount of injuries that you've seen in the NBA this year. You've seen a
Mhm.
massive amount. I don't know the statistics in comparison to other years, but you look around the league, a lot of star players have suffered an injury. We talk about the MVP race. I think not Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic is really the only guy that has been kind of in and around the top 10 for the whole year. He's the only guy off the top of my head that hasn't had an injury. And even like this past week, he tweaked his ankle. He did come back, but he tweaked his ankle. So, that lack of rest that players have had definitely adds up over time and makes their body a bit more fragile for the season following.
100%.
I agree.
Okay, so looking at the games of the past week, looking at the games of this coming week, we'll get into Tobe's picks for the week. Back on the winning train, 2 for 3. Almost went 3 for 3. New Orleans lost by 2 against San
Oh,
Antonio
that's the
on the
worst.
Saturday. Um, now that we are getting into the final stretch, we're warming up to the NBA playoffs. I am trying to focus on some more marquee matchups. So, with that being said, Wednesday, we've got the Clippers versus the Suns. You know who I'm rolling with. It's a Clip Squad win on Wednesday. Friday, the Suns are back at it, but they're facing the Jazz. This time, I'm going to take the Suns. I think the Jazz are going to come back down to reality now. They are not a team that's built for the playoffs. I'm taking the Suns in that win. Sunday, this is very contingent on one player. So, if Kevin Durant is not healthy, I am taking the Bucks over the Nets. However, right now, because Kevin Durant is reported to be back, James Harden is still out, so it'd be Kyrie and KD. I'm rocking with the Nets over the Bucks on Sunday. But like I said, if KD is reported out, I'm going on the Bucks squad. So those are my picks. I got Clippers, Suns, Nets, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, respectively. Thoughts on those, boys?
I like it. You're going for more difficult picks finally.
Well, finally, what?
Proud of you.
Been doing
I
that.
mean,
Been doing
bro.
that.
Then
I mean, the week you went 0 for 3, you had OKC and Pistons in
That's a
there.
difficult.
Like,
That's a difficult match, bro. Those two, you don't know what's gonna happen. Those are the bottom end
I
teams, bro.
I would have taken the Pistons with Jeremy Grant every day.
I don't know, man. The Pistons are a weird team. They don't win against typically. They don't win against the lower end teams, but they dominate against a team like the Utah Jazz or the Philadelphia 76ers. But yeah, so
That's true.
what is the race looking like in the East and the West right now at this point?
I actually just pulled it up because I want to see where the clips were at because I'm pretty sure the Suns, yeah, we're still in second, and they are. So with the Western Conference, you got the Jazz in first, Suns in second, Clippers in third, your Nuggets in fourth, Lakers in that fifth spot, the Mavericks in that sixth, Trailblazers in seventh, and the Grizzlies in eighth place.
Yeah, that's a tight race between the Suns and the Clippers right now. It's only by .006 win percentage. So,
And now you
um,
have the Warriors in 10th, who have now earned a playing position
wow,
potentially, if
yeah.
they can hold on to that.
Now,
And then
what
I honestly think that
about the East?
for the
that's what I was about to say.
East,
I honestly
you've
think
got,
that East is more interesting right now.
you've got the Nets in first. The 76ers have fallen to second place. The Bucks are in third. The Knicks are sitting at fourth, which is crazy.
Hmm.
The Hawks in fifth. The Celtics in sixth. Your Miami Heat in seventh. And surprising, the Hornets in eighth.
Second squad.
Talk about the 10th seed.
I don't know them. It's not the Bulls. They're the Wizards, though.
Yeah, well, I called it though. I was like, bro, get the Bulls out of there. Let's get the Wizards in there because
Well,
this is what I'm
obviously
saying.
you called that. They have the easiest schedule for like the remainder of the fucking year. It's like
Hey,
the,
I pulled a
the only
12.
way they
Sorry.
will not be in that 10th spot is if they just outplay themselves. That's literally it.
Yeah.
You're being spoon fed W's, and if you somehow knock that spoon away, then that's on you, brother. So,
But you're saying that as if like these teams haven't done that. Any team between the 10 and the 15, these are teams that have lost easy games. Like look at the Bulls. I get mad at them. I got mad at them all year because they lost easy games. They were up by. So
mhm.
yeah, I guess sure I'll take it. It was an easy pick, but I picked them because I want them in the 10 seed. Because bro, Westbrook and Beal in the playoffs, I would take that over any player on the Bulls and the Raptors. I want to
Even
see Westbrook.
your Mr. White and Zach
I don't give a
Levine.
fuck who it is. Get them shits out of here, bro.
The
I gave
shits
up on the
now.
team.
Clip this,
I
and
gave up
save
on the team.
this. I want this clip for next year. So next time Steve Ash tried, oh, the Bulls are on a run. Watch them. They're so good. I will literally send them
I
a video
said I'm
myself.
done.
Get them
Well, you
shits
just
out of
taking it
here.
out of context. I said I'm done with them this year. I said I'm done with them for the end of the year. Next year, if we come back now, different energy. Start of the year, we're winning a
Different
championship.
energy.
Okay, okay.
Start of the year, let's go. We're the 96 Bulls, baby.
So you don't even want them in the playoffs right now.
No,
Wow,
dude, if you
that's
tell me,
sad,
hey, would you
bro.
rather have the Bulls? If you tell me, would you rather have the Bulls or the Wizards in the 8th seed or the 10th, even the play-in? You know
Bro,
why?
that's
Because
supposed to
man,
be
even
your
if we make,
squad, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired
Through the
of them.
good
They don't get
times
my
and
love.
the bad times, brother. You just can't give up on them. Like, yes,
It's been 5
Raptors have fallen to the
seasons.
12th seed. We're probably not making
You guys
this
are
play
dead tied.
at
You guys are
all.
dead tied right now.
So it's like,
Okay, hear me out though. Would you rather, like, as an NBA fan, as somebody that loves this game, I wouldn't care to see my team at the 8th seed because they're gonna get their ass whooped by the Nets, even if they make it through the plane. Now, would I rather see the Wizards with Westbrook and Beal at the 8th seed going against Durant, Harden, and Kyrie? Like, you look at the storyline with all those guys, like Durant and Westbrook had their thing, or James Harden and Westbrook had their back and forth. I would rather see that than Kobe White
so
trying to
all
score
I'm
a bucket on
gathering from
somebody.
this
But
statement is that you have zero confidence in your team and their ability to win against tougher teams.
I just
All
said
I
that.
got
I've lost confidence on this team. I've lost full confidence on this team just from
You
the
gotta have
stretch, bro. I'm
confidence
tired
in
of
your
them
team,
this
brother.
year.
Just like you gotta have confidence in your picks. You gotta support them through and through.
facts.
Chris, I've rode with them all
And
year.
that's
I've been
facts.
riding with them all
Hey,
year.
again, coming from a Patriots fan,
Get them out of here.
we were garbage before the Brady era. Then we went into that golden era of Brady and Belichick, and then we were pretty ass last year. So like it's coming. But have I stopped
Chris,
supporting my Patriots? I'm like, they're not making the playoffs, so fuck the Patriots. No, I haven't. I'm still riding with
it's
them.
1
I still
year.
believe in them. Hey,
It's 1
you
year. It's
gotta
like
you
being like,
gotta
oh, I'm not going to support my
believe in your
Raptors. It's
team,
1 year.
believe in your guys, believe in that squad. Come
You
on,
guys
brother.
just won 2
If
years
not,
ago.
I'm
Both
coming to
teams
your
just
house
won
and
2
I'm
years ago.
confiscating all of your Bulls gear until you have that belief again. I will not.
Hey,
I will
bro,
not let
take
you
it
wear no
away.
Bulls gear.
Take it away until the end of the year. I don't care.
But lock it up.
Burn it. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, put it in the locker, bro. I don't care.
Dang,
I told
bro.
you.
That's the guy, right?
Hey, bro, listen. No, but like that's the thing. Like the Patriots and the Raptors argument. You guys just won. Both teams just won like 2-3 years ago. So like you're good to take like, hey man, they suck right now, but we just won. The Bulls haven't been good. The last time they were actually competing was with the D Rose era. Even with Jimmy, I like that era, but they weren't even in like this. I don't think they've made the conference final since 2011. And bro, just fucking figured it out. This team is not ready yet. I mean, I like what the management's doing, but for them to do all of this and still be that trash, hey, bro, just shut it off for the year. Go come back next year, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't care for them in the 8th seed. They're not gonna go anywhere. Come on.
Okay.
They can't even beat like lower teams. How are they gonna beat the Nets? Come on, man. Just shut it off.
Okay.
So that was Steve Ash's take on his most recent squad, the Bulls.
I hate the way. Time. I hate the way you just came in like, oh, that was the take. Like, bro, that's just
You're
like
very
that's everybody's
passionate, but
take. Go.
that's
Yeah.
good. That's what we want to see. You're so passionate about the
Like you are
Bulls.
not about the Clippers.
No,
Like
I
you're not
am.
about the
I
Clippers.
am. But
Yeah.
like
So
if the Clippers were in the position that the Bulls were in, I'd want to see them compete. And I want to see them play more
your
games.
team hasn't made
Exactly.
the conference
Like this.
finals
This is
We're not
ever.
even
this is
So
talking
how
about
don't
I.
that
talk to
though.
me.
We're not even talking about that though.
Yeah. This is how I look at it. See, it's like would if you were playing, would you rather the team you're playing be like, we're dead shit? Would you rather them just roll over and die, or would you rather compete And
if I'm
would you
playing,
rather them
I
come
no
out
no.
night after night being like, we are winning this game. We are going to win this game. And they're coming out with
Chris,
that fire because it's like, it's
no,
it's a
hear me out.
garbage feeling to win if it's just like, oh yeah, we're dead shit. We don't really care how this goes. Like it is what
Hey,
it is
bro,
at this
this is the
point.
key piece. This is the key piece. If I'm playing, if I have any role in that, if I'm coaching, if I'm an assistant coach, if I'm the tower, if I'm the water boy, I have confidence in myself in what I can bring to that team. If I'm playing, I'm like,
Fresh,
hey man,
cool
I don't
water.
care what game it is. I'm gonna bring that confidence in there. I have no confidence in these guys. We have seen them blow 20-point leads. Hey man, you guys are coming from a place of like you guys
Every team has done that. The Raptors have done it. The Clippers have done it.
Bro, Paul George
Every
shot
team.
a ball in the playoffs off the backboard, off the side of
and
the
in the
backboard.
moment, we have video of you, video evidence of you being frustrated. And I'm frustrated right now, man. Throw the shit
But I
off.
still
Like
want to
I'm done
see
for the
them
season.
play, though, bro. That's the
Like
difference,
Squad.
though.
you guys, but that's the thing. You guys, like, I feel like Knicks fans will get this like energy because like Knicks fans for the past like 10 years, they have had this feeling like when your team is constantly trash, not making the playoffs, you're like, bro, like even like they're not even at the 8th seed, they're at the 10th seed. They might have to win a game against the Pacers. I don't even like, bro. I just don't care anymore. Like, just reset it, man.
Well, that
Like,
is
it's a frustration. This is the frustration that like Knicks fans I feel like get. Like, bro, if you talk to any Bulls fans right now, they're like, bro, who
Bro,
cares, man?
Knicks
Like,
fans
this
are
shit is
whack,
trash.
bro. Knicks fans are the loudest, and they deserve to be loud this year. But they're the
Yo,
loudest fan base at the start of the year, and
year.
usually they're ass, and they're the worst team by the end of the year. But they're doing really well this year. It's funny though; you see a lot of Knicks fans coming out of the woodwork. I never knew you were a Knicks fan before, Aunt Paul. I'm pretty sure you weren't a Knicks fan before. Why are you not cheering for the Knicks? But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. So Knicks are doing good. I'm happy for them, to be honest with you. And maybe the Chicago Bulls can be there next year because I do think they have a good squad. I love the acquisition of Vucevic, but maybe they just need a bit time to
look, man,
put the
Kobe
glue
White's
together.
putting up like 30 pieces every night.
Well,
Kobe White's putting up 30 points a night right now, like as Zach LaVine's
I
out. I
think
just,
the
to me,
problem is
again,
Kobe
like,
White.
hey, bro, fuck it, I don't care. Trade everybody. I'm done.
Everybody.
Burn it.
My God.
This shit. We're gonna get the 7th pick again. Every year, 7th pick. We're gonna get it. Let's go.
No higher, no lower. Just 7.
No, just 7.
Jeez.
Okay, well, there you have it. That was the 11th episode of the Lob It Up Podcast with your hosts, Tobias, Chris, and Sivash. This week we did our power forward all-time draft. Some French picks, some picks that are still playing, AD and Giannis most notably. And then we got into a bit of comparison and contrast with LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin, and Kevin Love. And we ended it off with a heated discussion from your boy CFAsh about the climate of his Chicago Bulls. Obviously, make sure you're following us on our Instagram page, Love It Up Pod. Make sure you hit that like and comment button on what you thought of this podcast, and maybe if you thought there was any picks that we didn't take that we should have taken. And we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.